Bom dia, welcome back. Well, I had a busy morning this morning. Let's see. You know, nowadays you can't do anything without your cell phone. And I was without cell phone last night and this morning because I could not charge it. Look at this. I've got all of these cables and chargers to plug in, and none of these work. They're all broken like this. You see how it's got the tape on there? And they're just not charging my phone. I plug them in and put them in, and none of them are working. Damn things. So I had to go out and buy a new cable and charger thing. Here it is, and it was expensive. I went to my local shopping mall, an expensive cell phone appliance accessory place. It was 360 reais for this thing that you plug in and this cable. That's what, 20, 40, 60, about 60, I don't know, $65, something like that for that? Ridiculous. I mean, I could have gotten a lot cheaper, significantly cheaper, but I didn't want to mess around. I didn't want to get another one that was going to break easily like all of these. And so I just went someplace dependable and spent a chunk of change, but I have a cell phone charger now. And then I went for my daily walk, and on my walk I found this. Now, let me explain. I'm trying to, you see that red stuff in it? I believe that this bowl, shallow bowl, it's large, is used for candomblé rituals, sacrifices and offerings to the candomblé orishas, gods. And I suspect, and my brother-in-law Elcine was just here and confirmed that this red stuff, I thought it was either animal blood or maybe some dried red fruit. Elcine said it's animal blood. So I don't want to touch it, but it's probably a chicken that got decapitated. Now, I didn't just grab it without thinking. I walked past it, saw it, and then turned around and went back. I would never take it if I thought that it was a offering that was recently made or in a place where offerings are made. I would have never touched it. But it was in kind of a garbage pile on the side of a road, a very steep hill. It was lying upside down, surrounded by fallen limbs, leaves, and other castaway type cuttings and trash, obviously put there to be picked up by the garbage men. So I debated. I thought, I think it's okay to take this. Now, I know how much they cost. They're very inexpensive. I've seen them in shops that sell materials for candomblé. It's made out of clay. I debated and I decided to take it. And I am going to use it in my own private rituals. I always call myself an atheist, but I guess I'm spiritual in some ways. As I get older, I become a little bit more and more spiritual. And I'm going to use it for offerings to Yemenja, for example. But of course, I will not be making animal or blood sacrifices. It'll be offerings of fruits and flowers, maybe vegetables and leaves, but all organic, all vegetarian, because I'm a vegetarian. Anyway, I picked this up in the street. Hopefully it wasn't used for some kind of evil macumba by a macumbeiro to perform some kind of ritual to bring someone bad luck or evil. I'm just going to be sending positive vibes and positive oferendas, offerings, and we'll see. I'm trying to just gently wash away what I think and what Elcine said was blood, probably from a chicken. that got decapitated in a ritual. And I'll let that soak for a while before I start using it. The reason I took it, besides because that it was in kind of a garbage heap, is that there are a lot of evangelical Christians here in this area, and they love to do nothing more than smash anything to do with candomblé, or what they consider macumba, black magic. So better that I take it and use it for offerings to the orishas than for someone to pick it up and smash it, thinking that it's a tool of the devil. That was another reason why I decided to take it. Where am I going to put it once I've washed it? Probably out, well, it's definitely going to go out here in the garden, not in the house. Somewhere like, see where the cat is? The cat's peeking her head out there. Somewhere in that area. Kitty just jumped up. Somewhere in this area where the owl is right now. The owl, by the way, is also a symbol of candomblé. Signifies wisdom, like in many other cultures. Walking along the oceanfront now, as you can see, they're erecting the viewing stands for Carnaval. The city is definitely getting ready for Carnaval next month. That's what all these metal barriers and pipes and wooden platforms are. Normally would not be here. Another thing about candomblé, I have thought about practicing candomblé, going to a candomblé tejido and becoming an initiante. There's two things about, I don't know much about, I would have to do a lot more reading and investigating about it, learn a lot more before I would ever consider doing that. There are two things. One is, I believe, is an initiante. Initiation is that new followers of candomblé have to wear white clothing for a year, and that would, for me, would not be a problem. I like white clothing. But the other initiation ritual would be a problem for me, and that would be, this is something that Eliomar told me, my brother-in-law. He does not practice candomblé, but his mother did. I don't know if this is true or not, but he said one of the initiation rituals is that type of priest, Baita Santo, takes a large knife and cuts your upper arm. Makes a rather large cut. I think it leaves a scar. And the problem for me with that would be that I take blood thinners. If I even get a very small cut, I bleed profusely. I remember last year I stubbed my toe and I bled for 24 hours. It was nasty, got blood all over the sheets, etc. So, big cut with a knife on my upper arm would not be a pretty sight. So that is not something I would want to do. I don't know if they would make an exemption for that. Anyway, a lot more research, study, reading, and thought needs to go into it before I would ever even consider it. When I mentioned in my last episode that I was meeting up with one of my YouTube viewers on this channel, an American from California. His name is Andy. He is in Salvador, I think, spending 3 months here. And he was curious to meet up, so I said sure, and we did. And we had a great time. He's a really nice guy, very interesting person. You know, if you have a YouTube channel, you can sometimes meet your viewers, which is really nice. I have met a few of my viewers, Brazilian viewers, while walking along this oceanfront here. They've recognized me. We chatted for a few minutes, but this is the first time I've actually met a YouTube subscriber from the United States who was visiting, and we actually sat down and talked for a few hours at a restaurant. It was very nice. Nice meeting you, Andy. Thanks a lot. On the subject of religion, I was raised an atheist. Never went to church, never went to Sunday school. I'm thankful for that. My mother was raised Catholic. But in her family, my maternal grandparents were mixed religion. My maternal grandmother was Catholic, so she raised the children. My mother, aunt and uncle is Catholic, but my mother stopped being a Catholic in her late teens. Was basically an atheist the rest of her life. And my maternal grandfather, my mother's father, was a Lutheran, upper Midwest Lutheran from Wisconsin. So it was a mixed household. On my paternal side, my paternal ancestors were amongst the early Mormons, contemporaries of the Mormon prophet Joseph Smith and then Brigham Young. They were among the early Mormons who crossed the Great Plains and the Rocky Mountains in wagon trains and hand carts to the Great Salt Lake Valley in Utah. My paternal grandparents, as well as my father, left the Mormon Church later in life, thankfully. So by the time I was born, neither parent were practicing the religions that they were born in. And I still consider myself an atheist, although I have developed a bit of a spiritual side. Hence my curiosity about Candomblé. There's a sign you see in a lot of apartment buildings: aluguel temporada, rent for the season, or se alquila por Carnaval, rent for Carnaval. This is the time of year, the height of the summer season and getting close to Carnaval, when short-term rental prices skyrocket. Not a good time to be renting here in Salvador. You're going to pay top dollar, top hiao. The rest of the year, rental prices are very, very reasonable. As I mentioned before, I pay the equivalent of $365 for my one-bedroom apartment. So rents are quite reasonable in Salvador, except right around Carnival time. But of course, if you get a long-term rental contract, I have one for a year, then your rent does not change, even at Carnival time. It stays the same the entire year round. So no worries about that. Back home now, and look who's taking a nap in her favorite spot, Kitty. And look, I got all of the dried blood out of this, and now I'm going to create a spot for it in the garden. There, I put it in the garden, and I put a shell inside, and later I'll put in a few flowers and some kind of fruit as an offering. I like it. Thanks for joining me. As always, beijo, ciao.